What do you mean? What, did it already
Hi
start?
guys, how's it going? It's Radlin Mendoza and John Gardner from Gardner Mendoza. Hope you all are doing well. We are here for our Facebook Live Wednesday, 6 p.m. If you have a question, immigration question, court question, any question, put in the comments and we are going to hope to answer them today and
absolutely.
have a great discussion as well as give you updates on state court, immigration, the driver privilege card, and all the questions that you ask. So let's have them. Put them in.
Yeah.
We are going to be watching the comments to see if you put some questions down there. So that's what I'll be doing.
We're sitting outside because it's absolutely lovely, lovely evening.
I know.
They don't get any better than these, right?
Absolutely not.
So,
last week was pretty nice in Santa Fe, though.
oh
You guys
yes,
caught that Facebook Live
yes,
from
we were in Santa Fe last week.
Santa
That
Fe.
was very, very cool. So I guess I'll start out with just a real basic update on state courts, and then we can. Well, I have to read a review, except it's a review of me this time, so you have to.
I'll
read
read
it,
the
right?
review. You do the lawyer thing.
Oh yeah. Okay. The disclaimer. Let me start with the
lawyer
disclaimer,
disclaimer.
all right?
Yeah.
Yes, the weather is so nice that we're slightly discombobulated this evening. So the disclaimer, our lawyers tell us to tell you, of course, that this is for educational purposes only. This is not legal advice. So we are here to answer questions. Absolutely. Give us your questions, and we're going to give you updates on immigration law and state courts and USCIS and so forth. But anything you hear here is solely for educational purposes, and it is not legal advice. Okay?
All right. Awesome. And so we always do a review just to remind everyone how great our team is. We love bragging about team. In this case, it's John. John is the one who received the review. And we got five-star reviews this week, which woohoo, we are pretty stoked about. Five-star reviews in 1 week. And some of the comments in the reviews were professionalism, quality, and responsiveness. So those are all good qualities and all positive. But this particular person wrote, Mr. Gardner helped me out on my misdemeanor case very well. I highly recommend Gardner Mendoza Law Firm. Thank you so much for your help. So good job, honey.
Thank you.
Good result.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's right.
There's a bug.
I know that case. That was a dismissal.
Are you allowed to talk about alcohol? I think you are, yeah. It was a good, it was a very, very good outcome.
That's right.
And a happy client. So we like that. When you guys are happy, we're happy. That's for sure.
Yeah, criminal charges dismissed. Always a happy occasion.
We cannot guarantee results.
No, we definitely can't guarantee criminal charges will be dismissed. That's right.
This is another disclaimer, but from the Virginia State Bar. So
that's right.
We're
I'm
reviewing.
just saying that when they are dismissed, everyone's in a good mood.
Yes.
Except the prosecutor and the police officer.
They're fine too, aren't they?
Not really.
Sometimes not.
No, they get really. It's all
some of them.
Most of them. It's very personal for some reason. In any event, and that's not a political statement. That is just a legal. It's not a legal statement either. That's just
an observation. Yeah. It's an observation.
Okay.
And you know what? We take it personally too.
Yeah, we do.
We take it personally.
That's right.
So
that's true.
We can't blame other professionals for taking their jobs personally sometimes.
That's right.
Hi, Vanessa. How's it going? Thanks for joining. Who else is on here?
Yeah, I saw my Aunt Jill. Hi.
Aunt Jill. Yay. Great lawyers. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and she would know. She's in South Florida.
A
lot of them down there.
She's hung out with us outside of the law thing. So not only great lawyers, but hopefully she thinks we're great people too.
She does.
Maybe she does. Well, she checks in on us to make sure that we're staying great.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, you better go ahead with your court updates before we lose people.
Okay, yeah, that's right. They're like, this Facebook Live is going off the rails for some reason.
No, we're not going off the rails. We're just waiting for you
that.
guys to put your comments in. We're
That's
super
right.
excited to be here. We're super excited to be home. We were traveling and we're back and
we know
all is well.
We know your finger is just about to touch the phone to scroll away. Don't do it, okay? Okay, so state court updates very briefly. As you know, everything is back to normal. Well, the normal that's been the new normal since COVID. Just a reminder, and I was in court today and I had a client that showed up, and so this is a good reminder. He had a cell phone with him and no mask. All right, that's the wrong combination. All right, you want to have no cell phone with you and have a mask. Okay,
And don't rush your lawyer with no mask on.
that's right. That's
Try
right.
not to do that.
So just remember, you cannot take a cell phone, and I never mentioned that, but it's a good reminder today. You can't take a cell phone. You cannot take a cell phone into the courthouse. Some of them have lockers that you can try to put it in, but that's a total headache and a pain. So just
Do you need 2 quarters or a quarter?
yeah, just leave the you know how those things are. They don't really work. Leave the phone in the car. It's a much safer bet, and make sure you have a mask because you will need a mask. I was in Virginia Beach, and they're asking questions about COVID, and you need a mask. I went up to Hampton later. They're asking questions about COVID, requiring a mask, and they also were doing a temperature check. So the temperature checks that I've been getting have been in Hampton and Newport News, and also I did once in Norfolk as well. So just be ready for that. Okay, so that's the update in the
Okay.
state court.
Awesome. Well, I'll give an update at the USCIS office. So our team has been going, our attorneys have been going to immigration office in Norfolk, and it is also pretty much business as usual there. I was there today. We had 4 applicants. Wait, no, 1, 2, 3. 3 applicants, four people. Hi, Miss Grace. How are you? So, Miss Grace says, I wanted to say thank you again for a successful interview. Yes, you are very welcome. You guys did all the hard work. You did a great job. 2 thumbs up to you guys. But there were 3 applicants, the petitioner, me, and the immigration officer. So the officer took us in, me and 2 of the applicants, and then officers. There were 4 people in the office, and it's not a big, it's small. So there was definitely not social distancing, the 6 feet there. We all had masks on. Officer said, hey, counselor, you know you can do this by phone, right? And I said, yeah, I know I can do this by phone, but I know that our clients definitely feel more comfortable when we're sitting next to them, and I told that to the officer. And the officer and I go back a long, long way, and she mentioned that we've known each other for 20 years at the immigration office, and it just blows my mind. We both had masks on. We were both laughing. And she's like, Radlin, you still look exactly the same. It's like, Lori, I was just thinking this. Oh, whoops. I was probably not supposed to mention the officer's name. My bad. It's like, you look exactly the same too.
We'll get our lawyers to edit that out.
Yeah,
later.
we'll edit that out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to go to a place where you've worked with the people, you know the people, and they're great. They're respectful. They're respectful to our clients. And we had a successful interview today. And but with regard to just what to expect today, I was surprised to see a long line. And it was not the people swearing in to become U.S. citizens. It was actually the line to get in for your interview. So I got there right on time, not Filipino time today. I didn't get there at 8:10. I'm never Filipino time for my interviews, guys. Don't worry, I'm right on time. And I'm right on time and not early because usually there's a little bit of a wait. But when I walked up to the immigration officer, there was a long line of maybe like 15 people in the line. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to get behind all these people. But my clients were in the front of the line, so I just yeah, I'm with them. So got to the front of the line, and I was just surprised at the line. So we walked in, checked into the front desk as you do. We took the stairs. Of course, there's an elevator, and the waiting room for interviews was about still, about 1/3 full. And again, everyone was social distance, and it was all good. I felt safe. I mean, I've traveled. I've been on an airplane with mask and everything. So I felt safe, and I know that everyone's level of their comfort level with COVID-19 and masks and everything like that, everyone's different. So if you have a problem with going to your interview, you don't want to go to your interview, or you need to continue it, all of those things are going to be acceptable. You just have to inform the immigration office where you're going to the interview about that. And there's a bird who also wants to join our Facebook Live. So that is the update on local Norfolk Immigration Office. I mean, just hats off to that office, and I'm sure all the other offices around the country that are really just adjusting really well and just cranking out these interviews as per usual and doing it with respect for the applicant. So I really appreciate them for sure. All right, what's next?
What's next?
We've got some people on. Hey, Ron, what's going on, buddy? You got an immigration question? Just pop it into the comments.
Yeah, so let me take this moment before you get into more immigration to remind everyone again, and I'm trying to get the word out on this, and I keep telling people about it in court, and every time I tell someone, they don't have any idea what I'm talking about, which makes me concerned that the word is not getting out there. There is a driver privilege card law that's going into effect in January in Virginia that will allow folks to get a driving privilege card to drive legally, lawfully, in the Commonwealth of Virginia without having to show anything involving their immigration status. All you'll have to show is that you had income in Virginia reported on taxes in the previous year, and that you can pass the driving test, and that you have insurance. Okay, that's all you have to show. So if you know anyone who will benefit from this, I know a bunch of people, and I'm telling all the people that I know, but if you know anyone, please let them know. Let's try to get the word out on this, because everybody kind of looks at me like deer in headlights. Even other lawyers, nobody seems to know about this, and I don't know why. Maybe because of COVID.
Harshan has a great question here.
Okay,
you
what's
see
the
that
question?
He says, only in the Commonwealth of Virginia can they drive, or can they drive throughout anywhere in the United States of America?
It is a driver privilege card for Virginia. Okay, is my understanding. So whether
The Virginia driver privilege card. Got it.
Now that said, if you're driving through North Carolina and you get pulled over and you show what looks like a valid driving privilege card, but is one, I highly doubt you're going to get any pushback or questions about it. Okay, so because they're going to run your name through DMV, they're going to see that you have a privilege to drive in Virginia, and you have reciprocity in every state. So, for example, and I don't want to go into this in too much detail.
Reciprocity, that's a big word. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, when I have any driver's license, if I have a Virginia driver's license and I drive down to Florida, right, I'm going to pass through North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, before I get to Florida. And when I go through all those states are going to recognize my Virginia driver's license and not require that I have a license from their state. The driver privilege card is a privilege card for Virginia, but you should be able to use it outside of the state as well. Okay?
Hopefully that answers
Hopefully
your
that
question,
answers the
Harshan.
question.
Thank you so much for asking it.
Yeah, tell your friends to get it.
I want to say hi to Silvana. I saw her up here. Hi, Silvana. How's it going?
Hey,
Hope you're
Silvana,
doing well.
how are you?
We miss you.
We do miss you.
All right. So, am I next?
Yeah.
So, okay.
You've got some updates, unless you want me to get into the.
No. I was just monitoring the questions like I do. That's why,
That's good.
I'm just making sure there aren't any questions.
I
I have a question for you guys. There are a couple of people on here. This is not immigration related, but I need a haircut, guys. What do you think? My hair used to be really short. Give me a like if I should just cut it back to where it was really, really short. Can I get some feedback on that? Come on, guys, help me out here. I'm having a hard time. Because when you grow your hair out, you're just like, oh gosh, it's been 7 months and it's already at this point, maybe you should keep growing out. I don't really know where I'm going with the hair, other than it drives me absolutely insane. And I know the people with long hair like Savannah, like, that's not long. Well, it's long for me. So anyway, if you guys want to give me your opinion, no hard feelings.
Yeah, no hard feelings. And me too. If you think I should grow my hair back in, I shave it. But if you think I should just let it grow back in,
You're silly.
Let me know, all right?
All right. This is payback for me asking about my hair.
Yeah. I'm just
All
wondering if the bird entered with inspection. How would we know?
We wouldn't know.
Okay.
All right, let me see here. Oh, I wanted to mention, if you're bringing an interpreter to your interview because you need one, make sure that you try to complete the G1256 form ahead of time, because it will save some time. And when you bring an interpreter, the immigration officer is going to make the interpreter fill that out, and the officer is going to ask if you have it. and it may catch you a little bit flat-footed, and you know, sometimes things like that where you're not expecting, they ask you for something, you don't have it, it kind of starts off things a little bit rocky. So that's just a, you know, that's just a little tip. Bring in the interpreter form. You can find that at uscis.gov G-1256. So I can't wait to read these comments because the hair comments are coming
Well,
in.
I'm just telling you, we have 2 leave it, 1 short. 2
Yeah,
leave it.
Nelly, thank you.
And there was also a question that scrolled
Okay.
by. I'm sorry, I missed
we
it
mi-
because
did-
it went by too quickly. Here it is,
Oh.
right here.
He filled out, Harshan says he filled out his 864 form, but he did not fill in parents' details, and he doesn't have the form, and he has an interview in the next few days. So I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. When we file a green card application, we submit the affidavit of support along with that green card application, the 485 Harshan, and if it's not submitted, then USCIS will send a request for evidence for you to submit it prior to the interview. So or this could be an interview abroad. Let me know, and I'll help you. I'll hopefully be able to answer that question a little bit better. It sounds like maybe it's a question abroad for a interview abroad. Let me know, and hopefully I'll be able to answer that. All right. So there's been some interesting and important updates with immigration. The first one I want to talk about is, if you all recall, a few months ago, President Trump issued a proclamation that suspended entry of some non-immigrants work-related visas, and that those were the H, J, and L categories. So, and that suspension was through December 13th, 2020, and what that meant was for people who are abroad and they're looking to be issued an H visa, H-1B, H-2B, H-3, or a J-1 visa, or an L-1A, or an L-1B, and any of those categories, they would not be issued those, and that was those interviews are suspended through the end of this year. So a district court, I believe it was in California as well, issued an injunction basically stating that no, we're not going to. We're going to continue to issue those visas abroad, but it's only for the plaintiffs, the people who filed the lawsuit, that's going to affect. So some of the plaintiffs were, and they represent thousands of employees, the National Association of Manufacturers, Chamber of Commerce of the United States of America, National Retail Federation, TechNet, Intrax, Inc. So for all our friends out there and people we know who say they were looking to bring a J1 au pair in, this injunction does not apply to you, unfortunately. Your au pair is still not able to get that visa, and those visa interviews are still suspended. So that was pretty big news with regard to that injunction. And the second huge update is regarding H-1Bs, and this just came out yesterday. I haven't really had that much time to digest it because it has been crazy based on the update from last week with regard to the EB3 category cutoff dates jumping forward quite a bit for India and China. But this one was regarding H-1Bs, and that the administration announced a significant change yesterday that would substantially raise the wages of H-1B workers and, narrowing the eligibility for the applicant. So the bad news about that, it was submitted as an interim final rule, and that means that the agency has good cause to claim that it's exempt from the normal requirements to get feedback from the public before completing that. So John and I believe, and I think all immigration lawyers believe and hope, that this is going to be basically litigated and not go through in this very short period of time, because that would be pretty devastating if these rules went into effect in a short period of time and really just completely changing the H-1B rules just without any comment, without any public comment, without any of the stakeholders involved. So we're hoping that this is just what did I say earlier? Well, I read it as a quote as red meat for the base. Yeah. So this is red meat for the base, that we're doing something about immigration, and we're We're stopping foreign workers from getting these high-skilled jobs. So red meat for the base. I read that and I just started laughing because I'd never heard that before. But I'm learning more and more about these political terms and stuff by doing these Facebook Lives. But that's a pretty huge, significant update. It's not in effect now. We're watching it. We're going to keep you all posted as to what happens with that. And definitely are keeping an eye on it. All right.
Okay, so we had a couple of questions that came through
Oh,
that
okay,
I wanted
so
to address real quick.
Great.
Well, on the I864 question, there was a follow-up was that the interview is in the United States, and will that be a problem? And while you're thinking, what do you want to answer that or think about it?
So it sounds like the person does not have the parents' information for an affidavit of support. I'm just confused as to why we need the parents' information. Are they the joint sponsors? The affidavit of support is something that they, again, would have submitted, even if the adjustment of status application was filed 18 months ago. You don't need to submit a new affidavit of support unless for some reason the officer asks for a new affidavit of support, but the officer should not. You may have to submit an updated tax return, pay stub, those types of things. So, Harshan, if you want to send me a PM or send it through Gardner Mendoza Messenger and just give me a little bit more facts, I really want to answer this question for you. I know the interview for your friend is in a couple of days. The worst case scenario is that the officer is going to say, hey, I need an updated affidavit of support. You have 87 days to get that to me. They'll issue a request for evidence, and you'll have time, your friend will have time to submit that to the immigration officer. And I will go ahead and jump to my other update, which is an update that we talk about every single week, and that is you do have more time to respond to USCIS's RFE. So Harshan, if your friend gets the RFE and it's they're given 87 days, which is the standard allotted time to respond to an RFE, they're going to have an additional 60 days if that interview is in a couple of days. So if you receive a request for evidence within the dates of March 1st, 2020 and January 1st of 2021, then you have an additional 60 days tacked on to that due date on your notice, okay? So it's a request for evidence, a notice of intent to deny, a notice of intent to terminate, a notice of continuance for N400s. So if you have any questions about your notice and you want to know, hey, do I have extra time to respond to this? Shoot us a message and we'll take a quick look at it and let you know, okay?
All right. And we also had a question that came to us from deep in the Rocky Mountains about the driver privilege card. And the question was whether or not it can be used for Real ID or any other purpose. And the answer is no. The driver privilege card will have the singular use as a driver privilege card. That's all you can use it for. You cannot use it for an ID for any other purpose. Okay? So that's the answer to that question.
Yes, thanks for that great question, Lisa.
From the Rocky,
our
that was from the
really,
Rocky
really
Mountains.
good friend, and
Nestled deep in the Rockies.
yes, and also immigration paralegal for Gardner Mendoza for 12 years until very recently. So,
okay, here's a question now. Have you guys had any clients who filed post I-944?
oh my gosh, this
go
is such
through
a
the
good
marriage
question.
heiress interview? Wonder how that's.
Give BJ a thumbs up for asking all the key questions week after week. Good one. So the question, have you got? Okay, did you read the question already?
I did.
I
Well,
was.
you
I
can
think
read-
I was talking while you were reading it.
Have you guys had any clients who filed post I-944 at February 24th go through their marriage AOS interview? I wonder how that's going to impact the interview. Maybe none.
Yeah. So let me try to figure out how to answer this question without revealing too much information from today. Let's just say that I think it's going to cause the interview to be longer, number one. Number two, just make sure you have your ducks in order as far as the required documents that are on the 944. And the 944, there are a lot of documents that are required, as you know, BJ, if you submitted it after the 24th. So, well, I guess I should say postmarked on or after the 24th, you're going to be subject to getting your I-944 adjudicated. You're asking this question, so I'm assuming that's what happened here. So it is going to impact the interview. It's going to impact it with time. It's going to impact it with just as far as the time is going to be for the immigration officer to look through all the documents if she has not looked at them prior to the interview, and they don't really have that much time to look at the file before. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they do look through it. But if you're like us and you're submitting a lot of documentation, then that's going to take a lot for them to go through. I'm really hoping, in just reading accounts from across the country with some of my other colleagues who have had this form adjudicated in other jurisdictions, the officer is just going hardcore, hitting this form, making sure every single I is dotted and T is crossed and document is there, and just grilling them on credit score, taxes, bankruptcies, you name it, what they're going to be doing in the future, to some reports that they have the form, they don't even say anything about it. Most of the officers, as long as for the affidavit of support, for example, as long as that threshold poverty guideline is met, they don't even talk about the affidavit of support during the 485 interview. But again, it's just going to really depend on the officer and the office and the type of training that they're getting. So it really can impact the interview time-wise, and it may not. So hopefully the Norfolk office just takes a reasonable approach and sees that, okay, all of these things are met. The clients have submitted supporting documentation for this 944, and they approved the 485. So BJ says, my wife's asking me what we'll bring to the interview. I jokingly, but not jokingly, said everything. Yeah, I mean,
not a bad strategy.
It's not a bad strategy. And I was joking today with one of the immigration officers. I said, we put 500 pages of 944 documents in the file. She's like, why are you doing that? Because I have no idea how you're going to adjudicate the 944. I mean, it's a brand new form. No one knows what's going to come out of it. We want to just make sure, we have everything. And it's a really tough form, and we hope that it goes away. We'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens with that. It's gone away before for a short period of time, but it's back now. And yeah, it's, as our 9-year-old
right.
says, it's yucky.
Icky.
It's icky. That's right.
More, I don't know, is it red meat base? Is that?
I don't know.
Red meat for the base? I know when you said red meat for the base, for some reason I started thinking of a tagine, like Moroccan food. Maybe I'm hungry.
You're probably hungry. You're always hungry. All right, let's see if we have any other updates here. Okay. Do you want to? We talked a little bit about the public charge rule. I think we're good to go on that. And do you want to go ahead and talk next about
I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to be reading a little bit because I want to make sure that I get all the details just right. But as you know, that talking about the USCIS, they had a planned increase in filing fees, as most of you who've been following us know. And that was for certain applications and petitions, which were set to go into effect beginning October 2nd of this year.
A few days ago.
Yep, not too long ago. And as we talked about, there was a final rule, and we don't need to get into all the details about that, but the turn of events that took place was a case. It's Legal Resource Center versus Chad Wolf, all right? And that came out just days before the final rule was set to go into effect, and they several organizations, and good for them, filed a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security to stop the government from enforcing the final rule. So if you want to look that case up. Anyway, on Tuesday, September 29th, a federal judge, his name is Jeffrey White, of the District Court for the Northern District of California. I think he's sitting in San Francisco. He granted an injunction that temporarily prevented the government from enforcing the increase in filing fees as planned on October 2nd. So for those of you who are not familiar with an injunction, that just means that it stopped the fee increase from going into effect. All right. We don't need to get into all the reasoning. USCIS said, look, we need this fee increase because we can't afford to, we have a financial shortfall in all these services. And the plaintiffs said, this is against public policy and this is going to unfairly impact folks that can't afford it and so forth. All right. But anyway, the injunction was issued, and so this temporarily stops the fee increase. All right. I say temporarily because we don't know exactly where this will go right now. But what we do know is that USCIS, after this case came out, did issue a statement in response to the injunction indicating that while the injunction is in place, that the agency will continue to accept USCIS forms with the current additions and current fees. All right? So for now, everything is just as it had been before this fee increase was going to go into effect. Okay? Why do I say temporary? Because it's very likely that the government will appeal this decision, and so we don't know where this will go from here. We just know that it's going to likely get appealed, so the case will continue to be litigated, and as long as that's happening, there are lots of little funky, quirky legal things that can happen because they can enjoin part of it, but not all of it. They can remand it for further proceedings. There are all kinds of different things that can happen. They can ask for a 3-judge panel. They can ask for the whole court en banc to review. They can remand it for an actual, evidentiary hearing for additional evidence and so forth. So we don't know what course it will take. They're not going up for now. We obviously are following this very closely, so just keep tuning in with us and checking in with us, and we'll make sure to keep you up to date on all the twists and turns that lie ahead. Okay?
Thanks, honey. John is our designated case reader.
That's right.
He reads the cases and reports to you guys.
Yes, and again, for those of you who want to look it up, it's Immigrant Legal Resource Center versus Chad Wolf.
How many pages is it?
The decision itself that I read,
You
I
read,
think,
yeah.
was about 78 pages.
John read that in the back of an Uber. It's like, here, read this and talk about this. This is like,
Well, almost half of it was about, how the recess appointments were not lawful, and therefore any rule changes that they proposed to put in place shouldn't have any effect at all. But you don't need to.
you don't need to worry about
I'll
that.
follow
That's-
all that stuff. You
Yes.
just keep tuning in. All right.
Okay, this is I'm gonna segue into something that we talk about week in and week out, maybe day in and day out whenever we get a chance, and that is what this means, guys. You have another bite at the lower fees apple. Okay, you have another bite at the lower fees apple. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna take another bite, or are you gonna put the apple down on the nightstand and just be like, oh, I'm not quite ready to file the N400 yet? What are you guys gonna do?
I'm gonna wait till the fees go up.
No, you're not.
I'm gonna wait for the 83% increase.
You're not. You're in the N400. 83% increase in the N400, and that much as well with the 45. So we have another bite at the lower fees. So let's take it. Let's do it. Let's file those applications. And this is the drum roll that we've been. Is it beating? Yes, we've been beating this drum for months and months and months since this pandemic started in March, and that is to get your applications filed. Get your applications filed, because USCIS on its website already says expect major delays. Expect major delays and increased wait times. I will read for you again this week. It says, anticipated operational impacts include increased wait times for pending case inquiries with the USCIS Contact Center. Yes, we all know that. We've all experienced that. They were long before all of this happened. Longer case processing times. I'm sure some of you guys are like, how can they be even longer? And increased adjudication time for aliens adjusting status or naturalizing. So that means get in line, get your case filed, because we have no idea when this injunction is going to be lifted, and therefore filing fees will go up. And then we're kind of in the same boat again. We're not paying $725, we're paying $1170. So get your case filed. If you heard about this news and you're just like, oh cool, I have a few more days to review this over, and your N400 or your marriage adjustment package is still sitting there, or your whatever it is, just get it filed. It's not only the fees. Some of the fees went down, by $10, $15, whatever. It's more about getting in line and getting your case lodged with USCIS. So, all right, I'm not going to talk about that anymore because
I was just double checking in the different categories. One is 83% increase, one is more than 60%, and one is double. So those are huge fee increases. And I'll tell you, I've been watching all this case law for the last couple of years in the immigration realm, especially cases that ultimately end up at the Supreme Court, and a lot of them do, most of them do. And it's really unpredictable. It's not as simple as some other issues where you think, oh, well, the liberal justices will do this and the conservative ones will do this, and it's just a political thing. Not at all. These cases have had all kinds of odd outcomes because there's a lot of basically federal and constitutional law involved here. And so the results are unpredictable. So I wouldn't be waiting for, election results or, when the administration changes or if the law changes or, if the court changes. I would get this stuff filed now and get in the line, like Radlin just said. That's the absolute best advice, because once these cases hit the Supreme Court, the outcome, I've been really, really surprised by many of them. All right.
And John pays attention to these things very closely.
Well, just there's sometimes very odd bedfellows in the court. I mean, the dissents and the majority opinions are sometimes joined by different combinations of justices that you wouldn't expect to be together.
Right.
All right.
Okay, the last update that I and this is an old one as well from last week. Of course, I think for those who need to know that the employment-based categories have jumped forward quite significantly, which means that many people are eligible to file their adjustment of status cases right now. If you all need any help with that, let us know. We are quite busy with filing our own adjustment of status employment-based cases for the cases that we have, but we're certainly available to assist. I don't know whether that will be the case in the month of November. Hopefully it will, just to give everybody a little bit of breathing room and not try to cram everything in the month of October, but we can't count on that. So we're filing everything in the month of October, and you should too, if your cutoff date is before that time on the visa bulletin. So if you need any help with that, please let us know. And one thing about that, and I was talking to another immigration colleague of mine, and she was talking about how this was a few months ago. She's like, oh, I'm really not that busy right now. I'm kind of nervous, COVID-19. And so I called her up, I think it was yesterday, and I was like, you're not complaining about not being busy now, are you? Because they do primarily employment-based cases, and they're completely swamped. And she said something that really stuck out, and this is the way that we feel also, that it truly is for people who have been waiting such a long time, 9-10 years, for their priority date to become current and eligible filing. It's really, really an honor to just be there and just be the team that helps them get through that last step, the green card application, and get the green card. I mean, and I was like, you're absolutely right. So she's like, this is what I tell my team. And this is something that we also feel at Gardner Mendoza, just even if it's not a 10-year wait for a visa to become current, it is an honor to represent our clients. It's to go in and just be able to know that at the end of this process, this person is going to get the green card, lawful permanent resident status, down the road, the 10-year card, or just U.S. citizenship. So it really is, and that really made me stop a little bit. I'm like, okay, yes, we are super busy, but think about what we're doing, and that's what we like to tell our team as well. So we really appreciate all of you guys. We appreciate all the people here on Facebook Live supporting and also asking the questions. And it truly is an honor to be able to give you all the information and to represent our clients who are out there. All right. Any other updates?
No, I was just checking to see if we have any more questions. I don't think we have any. And I don't think we have any more updates. And we don't have any Any snacks to
We
try?
have no snacks. I've been really thirsty. I think it's because it's just hot outside today.
We don't have any thin ginger cookies from North Carolina or
We're gonna
moon
eat those
cakes
after
from
this.
China. We don't have any of it tonight.
We did eat a lot of yummy food in Santa Fe.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
All right, folks. Well, if there are no more questions, we don't have any more updates. Hope you all had a good evening. Enjoy the vice presidential debate tonight. That's right.
yes, are we
forgot.
watching that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, really, actually, one more thing before we go. I wanted to mention that we are going to be hosting Citizenship Day again.
yes.
Saturday, February 20th, 2021. If you are not familiar with Citizenship Day and you are a lawful permanent resident and you would like to become a U.S. citizen and need professional help with it, we are putting together a team of immigration lawyers, immigration paralegals, professionals. All of our team helps with Citizenship Day, and we help the community in completing their N400 applications. So important if that's the direction that you want to go into, and you're here to stay, right? If you're here to stay, then you probably should apply for U.S. citizenship. So Citizenship Day is going to be Saturday, February 20th, 2021. That is the date designated by American Immigration Lawyers Association, and we absolutely are going to be a part of that again this year. So we have not worked out the logistics or the venue and how that's exactly going to work. February is height of cold season and flu season, but we're working on it. We're brainstorming, and if anyone has any suggestions, we would love to hear from you. Absolutely, because as I said a few weeks ago, we are merely lawyers, and there are so much other talent out there to help us coordinate an amazing Citizenship Day.
Yeah.
Whether part of it is virtually, part of it is in person.
And if you've never thought about becoming a citizen, maybe give it another thought. Like Radlin said, you're here, you live here, you may as well move up to a management position. All right?
That's right. You can get a federal job.
That's right, and you can vote and be part of the decision making, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, give us a call if you have any questions. 757-464-9224. See, we're always supposed to tell them our call to action if you need any help. Or you can email us at info@gmlaw.net, or just send us a message through Messenger.
Yeah, and if you have any questions that are not specifically about immigration, they're not specifically about criminal or traffic law, but you think that we might be able to point you in the right direction or be able to help out, please let us know, because we always want to try to do that as well. Okay?
Is the sun setting?
I
think the sun is setting on our Facebook Live.
Yeah,
It's lovely out here.
I know. I just feel like sitting out here all night, but we need to go eat.
This man is hungry.
Well, you start talking about red meat.
What's for dinner? All right, guys. Take care, and we'll catch you next time. Two thumbs up.
Good night, everyone.
Have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, as always.
Enjoy the debate, if that's possible. See you.